we go, Greg, live from New York.
Y'all not going to be happy till he breaks the desk.
Well, luckily, next week we're off. They can fix it. Live from New York, it's the show that Brew in about 10 minutes is going to show America some stats that the audience is going to swear are fake because they have been tricked by the media the last 20 years. All right, Brew, are you starting to worry about my large adult Slovenian son? I'll call him that even after bad games.
Calling him that.
Luka Doncic.
Hadn't called him that for 2 years.
I called the whole finals run. I was calling him that. The whole finals run. Go ahead.
That was ugly.
It was.
First 2 times he touched the ball, he turned it over. He had 5 turnovers in the first, 6.5 minutes. You saw that 3-point. That was a self-check. That was like the ultimate disrespect where he had 10 feet and missed the 3, which can be a tough shot because, you're wide open like that. But LeBron was the best player on the floor last night, and LaMelo was the second best. And Luka was just horrific. All that said, no, not at all. Look, he's too good. And it's not a small sample size. And it's not like he just put up numbers on a bad team for the past six years. You know what I mean? Like, he has dominated the NBA individually. He's been to the NBA finals. He's been to the conference finals before that. So, no, I am not worried about him. And here's the thing. He has games like this. Everybody does. But now he's in a brighter spotlight because he's with the Lakers. He just got traded. He's with LeBron. But, his third game this year, he was 5 for 22 for 15 points, but not as many people paid attention. His first 3 games, really his first month he struggled from 3, but his first 3 games he was 2 for 27 from 3.
Yeah, but 3 straight games of not hitting 20 points is rare.
Yeah, but he hasn't played the minutes either.
Yep.
The first 2 games, I don't even think he was bad necessarily. He just didn't play a lot, and they didn't need him in the first game when they blew him out. But, so my point is, if you look through his game logs throughout his career, he's had moments like this. It's just now he's in a bigger spotlight. So I'm not concerned. Look, the defense, and we've talked about that as being an issue. They did hunt him in the fourth quarter. And the challenge for the Lakers, we know it's going to be defense.
Come here.
Right. That was just, but, so Luka's not going to stay in front of people. Austin Reeves, not quite as bad, but he's going to be hunted. LeBron is not the terrific defender anymore. And then you have no rim protection.
With that said,
when guys get past them, it's all easy layups and dunks at the rim.
With that said, before you just go real quick, because if people didn't stay up to watch the game, but you can see from the score, Lakers didn't lose this game because of their defense.
No, they didn't.
No, right. They actually shot below 40%.
Holding a team to 100 in 2024-25 NBA is a great defensive performance, even if it's the Hornets. They lost this game because of their offense. But go ahead, Greg, because I saw something I want to get your guys' reaction to in Luka, but I want you to go first.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about Luka as it pertains to basketball and him actually getting going eventually. What's interesting is the conversation that we had yesterday about resting LeBron versus the chemistry, and there are pros and cons to both of those things. You get the sense of they need the chemistry. They got to be on the court to establish that type of chemistry, but when they are both on the court, you get a sense of Luka's going to defer because he knows this isn't really my team. I'm coming in to be a part of something versus saying, this is mine, I am the guy. He has to have that approach, and they want him to have that approach, but it's hard when you get to a new location and you're looking at your jersey when you're in the locker room and it's a different color and there's so much going on in your mind, and it's like, man, it doesn't feel quite right yet. And you get that sense that it doesn't feel quite right. There was one thing that he said in his post-game presser. He was asked about what he did over the All-Star break. And did you study? Did you see how you were going to fit in? And his response was kind of alarming to me. His response was, no, I just wanted to really get away from basketball. That right there.
So we're on the same page.
Was extremely problematic.
So again, if people didn't watch it, this wasn't like the first couple games where he didn't have the ball in his hands. He had the ball in his hands. He had 8 assists, 6 turnovers, took a bunch of shots. Yep. This wasn't that Austin and LeBron were. No, they put the ball in his hands. He wasn't good.
Yep.
So I'm going to say something that's going to sound weird, but it sounds like I think you might agree with me. He's really sad.
Dude.
I watched last night. He was relieved when he made a shot.
Oh, yeah.
He is, I think, for the first time in his entire basketball life, had his confidence shaken by being traded and then by what they said about him. And I think he is deeply in his own head. I can't, and all of us looked at the trade as these lunatics. Right. You know what I mean? Like crazy. Yeah. I didn't really stop to think much until I was watching this game last night of how it landed at Luka's. We all were like, oh, Luka's going to be a man on fire. Luka's going to be a man possessed. It appears to me that for the first time in Luka's life, there is a bit of doubt in his, like, wait, what? This team that I wanted to stay with, that I thought I was going to potentially have the dirt career with, not only did they trade me in the dead of night, but now are running to every reporter imaginable being like they hated me. Right. They thought I was bad for the culture. They thought I was bad in the locker room. And I see a player who I always joke that he's at his best when he's angriest, like snarling and yelling and swaggering. I see a player that is meek for the first time in his career.
See any of that.
And when we said that, remember his press conference with the Lakers, it was like, he looks
and so I don't think that's a permanent disposition. And I actually think maybe on Tuesday when they play the Mavs, maybe that could be a moment to snap out. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, now I see them across the floor. I'm going to try to, turn this kind of sadness into anger. But, Brew, I've never seen Luka like this, and I just really think he is shaken by the fact that this team gave up on him. That not the team he's on now, but that they gave up on him, and I think it has impacting him on the court and his comments about getting away from basketball. Yeah. I think he is really bothered by what happened, and it's affecting the game.
I think that's a great point. I haven't heard that anywhere else. That's a great point. And I want to piggyback off something you said, too. This is also the first time, probably since his early teens, where he's been maybe not the best player on the team.
Or a more accomplished player.
Right. Like
correct.
With Kyrie, who was great, I think he looked at Kyrie and was awed, like LeBron was awed by his skills and everything, but Kyrie's not on their level, right? LeBron, while Luka is better now, LeBron is still playing well enough, and obviously he's been better than Luka the last 3 games. This is the first time in Luka's, again, since his early teens probably, that he's been outshined by a teammate. Even when Kyrie would go off, it was still like it's Luka's team, and obviously Luka's better. So we talked about the adjustment for LeBron to be with a player who's better than him. I'm starting to wonder for Luka, is this somewhat of an adjustment?
Yeah, it's that alpha mentality. Like, he's not the alpha male in that locker room. It doesn't matter what LeBron does, he's LeBron James. And so you're always going to be in that shadow.
Yep.
Right. And to your point, like when I heard him say I had to get away from basketball in the All-Star break, it was startling to me because you would believe a Luka who is on fire, who is teed off about being traded and excited about this opportunity, he's going to be like, okay, I need somebody to come to the facility so I can lock in and find a way. Him saying, I had to get away from the game.
I don't think this is permanent, obviously. I don't even think it will last the whole year. But right now, he is... I've watched not every game of his career, but a lot of them. And since he was a rookie, he played with more confidence a month into his rookie season than he's played with the Lakers. And I think it's because he took the trade as an indictment, and it made him question himself.
I hope you're right. I agree that I don't think it's permanent. Yeah. But this can break players. Like, this is broken players in the past where they're never quite what they used to be. I don't think that'll be the case. I certainly hope that's not the case.
It's just something interesting. And by the way, they didn't get the rest or the chemistry last night. No. Now they play tonight. My guess would be they don't play LeBron in the back-to-back. So maybe that helps. I don't know. But, all right, stay with this game. People didn't watch down the stretch. Rui missed a couple free throws. LeBron hits a 3 to cut it to 1. Then LaMelo makes 2 free throws. That's a chance to tie. There's another chance to tie. LeBron misses both. Folks wondering why Luka was inbounding the ball. I think those folks didn't watch the game where Luka couldn't get a shot. Here's LeBron and Luka on what JJ drew up. Any issue with LeBron taking the final shot?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Especially the fact that LeBron had it going. 16 of his 26 came in the fourth quarter. Like, Luka was struggling, as we all know, watching that game. But here's my, to those who possibly didn't really watch the game, or who watched the game and felt like, what is Luka doing? Why didn't they at least try to allow Luka to do it? If you allow Luka to take that shot, I wouldn't have a problem with him taking that last shot. However, the questions would then be, why didn't LeBron take the shot when he was the one that had it going? And Luka was struggling all game. So you got to look at it on both ends.
And they got a great look.
They did.
I mean, it's a deep look. It's a deep look.
That's a great look.
You will sign up for that every time. Brew?
First of all, you guys know I'm not the one that thinks the hero ball, the superstar has to always take the last shot. Heck, it could be Austin Reeves, or it could be Dorian Finney-Smith one night. Now, Luka or LeBron may make the play. They either take a shot or they kick the pass, draw attention, kick the pass to the guy to shoot it. But I'm not the one where the superstar has to take the shot every night. But it's great to have two guys who not only can hit a shot, but can make a pass, too, in that situation. Kyrie took the last shot sometimes in Dallas. Sometimes it was Luka. With LeBron, Kyrie sometimes took the shot. So they're both right in that sometimes it'll be one or the other. But LeBron got great looks. And as you said, last night, LeBron should have been the one they go to see if he can get a shot off. But for Luka inbounding it, if you notice, if he had just the inbounder can always get it back.
They go away
from him. He could have popped back and like he's open for a three if LeBron wants to give it to him. So it wasn't like disrespect to have Luka inbound.
And on the again, when they were down 4, Luka inbounded it, threw a great pass to LeBron. It seemed like Rui ran the wrong play because LeBron was mad at him, and LeBron ended up taking a really tough three and making it. So here's the reason this is a story, and the reason most shows led with this is because the whole nation's been gaslit for 20 years that LeBron's bad at these shots. Now, with the Lakers, he has, oddly, I think he's missed 21 consecutive in the regular season, final 5 seconds to tie or take the lead in the regular season. Really weird. These are the graphics I said that people will swear are not true. So this is last 30 years, all players, playoff career. LeBron's made the most and has the highest percentage. I picked the best players of his era in Kobe as well, because everybody and just leave it here for a second. This is the final minute of games in the playoffs. Goes back to 97, because that's as far back as the database goes.
Playoffs.
That's just playoffs. That's just playoffs. LeBron's 23 of 50. Kobe, who everyone's like was the clutch killer of all time, 27%. Final 30 seconds. What's it look like for these same groups? LeBron's 14 of 35, 40%. Kobe 8 of 31. KD and Steph 25 and 21%. What about the scenario last night? 5 seconds left. Tie or take the lead. LeBron at 40%. Kobe made 4 his entire career. KD made 2, and Steph has made 1. By the way, if we did all of the only guy who is, LeBron's basically second in all these scenarios. The guy who's first in all of them is Ray Allen. Ray Allen was unbelievable. He was 10 for 16 from 3. He was 11 for 21 from the field.
He saved LeBron.
Right. But here's the reason I bring that up. I think there is, and part of it is our former colleague and friend of ours, Skip. Part of it is just the narrative that existed forever, where people see that and say, I don't believe that. That you know what I mean? That actually LeBron is not good at those shots. And even if those were all shots we did, 3-point percentage, by the way, it's the same, where his 3-point percentage is better than those 3 guys. Oh, wow. Kobe included. And so, and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to disparage Kobe, especially because he's passed, but Kobe always had the opposite, which was Kobe's percentages on those things weren't good, but in our mind's eye, we're like, man, last second shot, you want him more than anybody. And it's just, we've kind of, there's like a weird Mandela effect about how we view LeBron in those clutch situations.
And I think there's a few other things. One, I do think Skip and his prominence played a large role in it. When LeBron melted down against Dallas, that added to the narrative. but also that LeBron's never been viewed as this like great jump shooter. Now I feel a lot better now about him taking these threes than I have even up to the last few years because he's become such a good three-point shooter. But also then remember, and I don't think these were bad basketball plays, but a lot of times earlier in his career, especially when he would kick it out for a pass, which were good plays because he kicked them to good shooters, but people killed him for it. So I think all of that combines to that narrative.
All right, some shocking news that hopefully is just a speed bump rather than something significant. Wemby's going to miss the rest of the year with deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. That means a blood clot.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He was averaging 24 and 11, just under 4 blocks a game. He was minus 2,500 to win Defensive Player of the Year. That would mean you would have to wager $2,500 to win $100. So, and now he can't win it because he won't play 65 games. Brew, obviously this is disappointing.
Yeah.
How concerning is this to you?
Well, like you said, and he also was going to, in addition to probably being Defensive Player of the Year, was going to be second or certainly third
All-NBA.
All-NBA.
Yes.
So it's tough. Look, the Spurs have said they're confident he'll be ready and healthy for next year. So hopefully this is just kind of a one-time thing and it doesn't become a problem. To me, the biggest, assuming he's healthy next year, the biggest concern is just that when I watch Wemby, as much as I'm a fan of him, I see someone who's so unique because of his height, because of his skills, perimeter-wise, inside, whatever, that they're trying to still figure out what's the best way to use him. And I think that's one reason their record isn't much better, because it's like, what's the best way to maximize this guy? I don't know if he wants to be Kevin Durant. He shouldn't be Kevin Durant. Like, he can be different than that. But I think depending on how long it is for him to get back in the weight room and get back to working out before next season, they could go in the next season and it's again experiment time, right?
I know.
And you got Fox, you got Castle, and we're still figuring it out again. Hopefully, even if when he can't play this year, but the staff is going to devour those tapes and figure out, okay, where do we need him on the floor most of the time when we're at our best?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the best part about this second half of the season was you were going to finally get to see De'Aaron Fox and Wemby establish what that was going to look like and how it needs to look moving forward. And now you don't get that opportunity. But anytime you have an injury of this magnitude, and it's an odd injury, I should say, you have to take these type of precautions because you just don't know. And to your point, he's just such a unique individual. And typically we see these tall, over 7-foot guys have these types of injuries or some type of injury.
Right.
And it's like it's detrimental to their sustained future of success.
So listen, you guys know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm very convinced I probably should have been and would be great at it. I don't think I would have been a good doctor, but whenever these things happen, I just scour like the things that have been written by actual doctors. So Brandon Ingram had this exact same thing. Okay. Missed 6 months, missed the end of a season. Wendy talked about this, not Wemby, Wendy. It's 6 months that he has to be out because it's 6 months of being on blood thinners. And it's 6 months that...
he'll be... What about working out?
So he just can't risk injury for those 6 months. So it's just like a black line. You're out for 6 months, then you can come back. If it's like Brandon Ingram or Ulster Thompson, it was a one-off thing, never came back, and it's kind of a freak thing. If it was like Chris Bosh, where it's like your body...
His were in his his legs.
Right, but evidently that's not really... The issue is whether or not this was a freak thing that just happened from overtraining or you got bumped or whatever, or if your body produces them. If your body produces them, the blood clots, then your career's in jeopardy. The Spurs seem to think this is more likely a one-off, but either way, it's 6 months. So it's, you know what I mean? It's 6 months before, and then... So it just slows everything down, which is such a bummer because we joke about you talking about him potentially being the GOAT. He's great for the league. His floor is supposed to be a couple MVPs. Honest to God, that's supposed to be about his floor. And for him now to miss it, not get the playoff run or a playoff race is a bummer. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.